Those were the headlines. Now for the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq sent a cable of greetings to His Highness Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah, Emir of Kuwait, on the occasion of his country's National Day. The Honorable Lady, spouse of His Majesty the Sultan, has greeted the teachers on the anniversary of the Omani Teachers Day, which falls on the 24th of February every year. She said that expressing gratefulness and respect to teachers is the path for development and prosperity for all nations. She extended sincere greetings to all teachers who are working tirelessly to pave the way of knowledge for all on this dear country. His Highness Sayyid Shihab bin Tariq Al Saeed, Deputy Prime Minister for Defense Affairs, received at his office today at Muaskar Al Murtafa'a Her Excellency Federica Favi, Ambassador of Italy, accredited to the Sultanate. During the meeting, they discussed the good bilateral relations binding the two countries and exchanged viewpoints on a number of issues with mutual concern. His Excellency Sayyid Badr bin Hamad Al Busaidi, Foreign Minister, and His Highness Prince Faisal bin Farhan, Foreign Minister of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, expressed their pride of the historical relations binding the two friendly countries. They also expressed on the keenness of their countries' leaderships to enhance cooperation in various fields, including trade, investment and tourism sectors, in addition to strengthening cooperation in the energy, technology, transport, cybersecurity, health, environment, fisheries and agriculture sectors. The two sides held bilateral consultations through which they exchanged viewpoints on a number of regional and international issues. They also affirmed on the importance of joint Gulf work and follow up with the outcomes of the GCC summit, which was recently held in Al Ula city in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. They as well expressed their support for the efforts aimed at consolidating peace, security and stability in the region and the whole world. The Sultanate celebrates today the Omani Teachers Day, which falls on the 24th of February of each year. On this occasion, Her Excellency Dr. Madiha bint Ahmed bin Nasser al-Shaybaniya, Minister of Education, extended her greetings to all teachers in Oman, appreciating their efforts and dedication in preparing students for a better future. Her Excellency said education in the Sultanate enjoys a great interest and diligent follow-up from His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq, as the Supreme Committee of COVID-19 made the decision of applying the blended learning curriculum with a focus on distance education. The Ministry of Education has laid the foundations and controls needed to implement blended education, activate the e-learning as a central component of the educational process, and take precautionary measures to ensure the safety of teachers, students, and the school environment. The Ministry of Education was keen to enhance the knowledge of all Omani teachers and provide them with the necessary skills to face the challenges of COVID-19, which requires providing them with the knowledge and methods necessary to develop their level of performance in the field of distance education. The Ministry is also keen on qualifying teachers by providing opportunities for candidacy to obtain academic qualifications in postgraduate programs for master's or doctoral degrees in accordance with the approved nomination controls set by the Ministry in cooperation with the universities and colleges inside and outside the Sultanate. The Ministry of Health announced that the total number of COVID-19 cases registered in the Sultanate during the last 24 hours reached 140,300, while the total number of deaths reached 1,558. The total recovered cases reached 131,385, which is 94% of the total recovery rate. The Ministry stated that the total number of patients or inpatients in hospitals reached 199, among which is 75 in intensive care units. The sheer volume of coronavirus patients and numbers being admitted to hospitals across the country means some nurses and other health care staff are at breaking point, fearing there's no end in sight. More details in the following report by Abdullah bin Ahmed al-Rubi'i.
The frontline nurses and other healthcare staff working in the designated hospitals for the treatment of COVID-19 have started encountering pressure due to gradually increasing in number of patients in those areas, and especially critical care units, the volumes of which it makes these frontline healthcare staff not knowing when this situation is going to end, so that they could have less pressure as the physical exhaustions they all encounter is so high. Here in Abri Hospital, we met with some of the staff, and this is what they have to say.
I'm in charge of COVID-19 in Abri Hospital. Indeed, the pressure is high. People are suffering, patients and we as a staff. So do a favor for us, follow the preventive measure for all of us to stay safe, inshallah.
As the coronavirus disease, COVID-19 pandemic continue to accelerate, healthcare systems will become overwhelmed, leading to great psychological pressure on nurses and other healthcare staff in the care of critical ill patients.
The pressure of ICU beds are increasing. So please, our fellow citizens and residents, follow the precaution and protect yourself, please.
All this is due to huge workload, long-term fatigue, and infection threat. All people have to be united in implementing all prevention methods as part of their way of day-to-day living style to stop COVID-19, and in doing so, we will be able to reduce the risk of our overwhelming staff, the healthcare system, and eventually stop the virus. Abdullah bin Ahmed al-Rubi'i, Sultanate of Oman Television, Abri Hospital, Al-Zahira.
Rear Admiral Saif bin Nasser al-Rahbi, Commander of Royal Navy of Oman RNO, visited the maritime exercise Khanjar Had, or Sharp Dagger, that is implemented by the Royal Navy of Oman in the coastal area of Al-Batana. The drill is implemented with the participation of ships affiliated to navies of the friendly countries and with the support of the Royal Air Force of Oman. RNO commander got acquainted with the activities of the exercise and means of implementing them, which serve the desired goals. The event is considered a valuable chance to exchange experience among the participating ship crews. RNO commander was briefed on the ships participating in the drill and the roles they undertake. In order to implement smart systems in agricultural fields, the Sultanate has started the implementation of date palm pollination technology by using air drones to spray date palm trees with liquid pollination. This technology will speed up the process as it takes short time to pollinate date palm trees. The process starts with extracting pollination by using a machine and mixing it with some water. Then the drone's tankers are filled with the determined quantity of pollination mixture. This new technology is being implemented by the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Water Resources in some of its research farms in cooperation with a local company. BIA company is supporting student companies which are established under the umbrella of Oman Platform for Environmental Innovation. These companies are being operated by some Omani innovators who are working to come up with new things in the field of environmental protection. One of these companies is Exer, which is specialized in producing organic fertilizers from remnants of fish. The company was established 4 years ago by some students from the University of Technology and Applied Sciences. It aimed at achieving self-sufficiency in organic fertilizers. In cooperation with Oman Royal Police, Environment Directorate in the Governorate of South Batana arrested expatriate manpower who is producing great quantity of coal through cutting green sumur and ghaf local wild trees. They intended to distribute and sell in the local market. The bodies concerned are completing legal procedures and the materials were seized. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Investment Promotion is discussing plans to permit holding virtual and innovative exhibitions as part of new amendments to the regulation for organizing and managing exhibitions. The ministry stated that it is working on making new amendments to their regulation for organizing and managing exhibitions issued by Ministerial Resolution 182/2017 in order to give more facilities to the companies organizing exhibitions and conferences and to encourage them to expand and diversify the holding of such exhibitions and conferences in the Sultanate, and even attracting regional and international exhibitions, conferences and events to the Sultanate. The ministry said the new amendments will include adding new types of exhibitions that will keep pace with the current economic and health conditions, which are virtual exhibitions that are organized through electronic platforms and applications. Oman Oil Price April delivery reached $63.33 today, recording an increase by 26 cents. The average price of Oman crude oil March delivery reached $54.78 per barrel, increasing by $4.79 compared to the price of February delivery. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. Iran officially started restricting international inspections of its nuclear facilities yesterday, a bid to pressure European countries and President Joe Biden's administration to lift crippling economic sanctions and restore the 2015 nuclear deal. Iran's parliament in December approved a bill calling for partial suspension of the inspections of its nuclear facilities if European signatories to the deal didn't provide relief from oil and banking sanctions by 23rd of February. It will also stop implementation of the additional protocol that allows IAEA inspectors to carry out more intrusive inspections to Iran's nuclear facilities. Following the 2015 deal, Iran voluntarily agreed to implement the additional protocol. Under the protocol with Iran, the agency was able to collect and analyze hundreds of thousands of images captured daily by its sophisticated surveillance cameras, the agency said in 2017. Ghana has become the first country in the world to receive vaccines acquired through the United Nations-backed COVAX initiative, with a delivery of 600,000 doses of AstraZeneca vaccine made by the Serum Institute of India. The vaccines delivered by UNICEF arrived at Accra's International Airport early today and are part of the first wave of COVID-19 vaccines being sent by COVAX, an international cooperative program aimed or formed to make sure low and middle-income countries have fair access to COVID-19 vaccines. COVAX is led by the United Nations World Health Organization, Gavi, a vaccine group, the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations, or CEPI. Ghana is among 92 low and middle income countries that are receiving vaccines for free through COVAX. Another 90 countries and 8 territories have agreed to pay if they choose to receive vaccines through COVAX. The West African nation of 30 million has recorded 81,245 cases and 584 deaths since the beginning of the pandemic. Malaysia kicked off its coronavirus vaccine campaign today with Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin receiving the first shot. He was given a Pfizer dose from a nurse at the vaccination center in Putrajaya. Malaysian Health Ministry Director General Nur Hisham Abdullah also received a shot. Malaysia has signed deals with several vaccine suppliers, including Pfizer and AstraZeneca. The country aims to vaccinate up to 80% of its 32 million people by next year. More than 500,000 healthcare and frontline workers will be given priority in the first phase. Heavy rains have flooded the northwestern state of Acre in Brazil, leaving entire neighborhoods underwater and the streets impassable. According to officials, 100,000 residents have been affected after the river Exer burst its banks, deluging surrounding areas, including state capital Rio Branco. Local authorities are appealing for federal aid for the impoverished state bordering Peru. Brazil's President Bolsonaro will fly over the area to assess the situation and offer support to the local authorities. A state of emergency has been declared. This is the Sultanate of Oman Television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main headlines once again. His Majesty the Sultan greets His Highness the Emir of Kuwait on the occasion of his country's National Day. The Honorable Lady, spouse of His Majesty the Sultan, greets teachers on their annual day. And the Sultanate and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia express their pride of their historical relations and affirm their support for efforts aiming at establishing pillars of security and peace in the region and the world. And with that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. We would like to remind you one more time to keep following the precautionary measures of wearing face masks, washing hands, and keeping physical distance from each other. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, it's good night and stay safe.